Welcome back again, guys. Decoding cues. Remember that people are generally trying to present the best possible front to the world. This means concerning the possible antagonist feeling the desire for power or superiority, their attempts or integrations for the insecurity. Your task is to look past distractions and become aware of those signs that leak out automatically, revealing something of the true emotion beneath the mask. The three category of the most important cues of to observe the identify are dislike, dominance, and submissions. And deception, dislike cues. People give out clear indication in their body language or of active dislike or hostility. This includes the sudden squinting of the eye at the something you have said, that the glare, the pursing of the lips until they nearly disappear, the stiff neck or the toss of the feet that turn away from the while you are still engaged in a conversation, the folding of the arm as you try to make a point, and overall tenses in the body. They make a point and overall tenses in the body. Problem is that you will not usually see such sign unless a person displeasure that has become too strong to conceal. Instead, you must train yourself to look for the micro experience and the other more subtle sign that people give out. The micro experience is a recent discovery among the psychology who have been able to document its existence through film. It lasts less than a second. These expressions will be momentary glaring tensing of the way. A facial muscle pursing the lip, beginning of a frown or scenery, and look at them contempt with the eye or looking down on once you begin to notice such expressions, you will find it easier to catch them. People will often give themselves away with the mixed signals, positive comment to distract you, but some clearly negative body language. Pay attention as well as the opposite configurations. May someone says something sarcastic and point direct at you, but they do this with a smile and joke turn of a voice, a signal it is almost good humor. It is their repressed way of expressing the hostility. Take notice of people who praise or flatter you without their highlighting. This could be a sign of hidden and on the other side of the coin, we generally have less of a need how to hide positive emotion from others, but nonetheless, we often do not like to emit obvious sign of the joy attraction, especially in work situations or even in a courtship. People often prefer to display a poor social front, so there is a greater value in being able to detect the sign that people are falling under your spell. People who feel positive emotions for you will display a noticeable sign of relaxation in the facial muscle, particularly in the lines forehead and the area around the mouth. Their lips will appear more fully exposed, and whole area around their eyes will be widened. These are the voluntary expression of comfort and openness. In developing your skill in this arena, you must learn to distinguish between the fake and the genuine smile. Because the genuine variety is less common, you must know how to recognize it. The genuine smile will affect the muscle around the eye and widen them, often relieving of it on the side of the eye. It will also tend to pull the cheeks upward. There is no genuine to pull the cheeks upward. There is no genuine smile without a definite change in the eye cheek. Perhaps the most telling indication of positive emotions come from the voice. When people are engaged and excited to talk to you, the pitch of their voice rises, indicate emotional arousal. Finally, monitoring non-verbal cues is essentially your attempt at influencing the seducing people. When people start to feel comfortable in your presence, when they will stand closer to you, learn nodding their arm not folded or revealing any tension. Perhaps the best, most exciting sign of all synchronize the other person unconsciously mirroring you. Dominance and submission skill. People action will often contain dominance and submission skill. For instance, people will often show up late or indicate superiority, real or imagine they are not obligated beyond the time. Also, conversation pattern levels or elevated position people feel they occupy. For instance, those who feel dominant will tend to talk more, interrupt frequent, as mean as asserting when there an argument. The turn peoples they will sort to what is known as a punctuation. They will find an action on the other side. They started it all over, even the clearly is a part of the relationship pattern they assert, and their interpretations of who is to blame through their tone of a voice using look. If you observe a couple from the outside, you will frequently notice one person who is the dominant position. If you converse with them, with the dominant one will make eye contact with you, but not with us or her parent, and will appear to only half listen what their partner says. Smile can also be a subtle cue or indicating superiority, especially through what we shall call that tight smile. This usually comes in responsive to something someone said. It is smile that tighten the facial muscles and indicate irony and contempt for the person they see as inferior, but give them the cover of appearing friendly. One final but very subtle non-verbal means of this dominance in a relationship come through the similar symptom. One partner suddenly develop the headache, smile, some other illness, or start drinking. Generally falls into negative patterns of behavior. This forces the others had to play by the rules to tend their weakness. It's fully willful use of empathy and gain power. It is extremely. Finally, use the knowledge you glean from this cues as valuable means of gauging the levels of confidence in people and acting appropriately with lead. If you are riddle of the insecurity that poke through the non-verbal, you can play to their insecurities and gain power through this. But often it is the best to avoid attaching yourself too closely to such type as they do poorly over time and can drag you down with them with those who are not leader but they are trying to assert themselves. If they are your response should depend on their personality type. If they are rising star full of the self belief and sense of destiny, it might be wise to rise with them. You will notice such type of positive energy that surround them. On the other hand, if they are simply arrogant and petty disposed, these are the priceless types. You should always strive to avoid. They are master at making other pay lips service them without giving anything in return. Deception cues. The most clear and common sign of deception come when people assume an extra animated from forefront. When they smile a lot or if more than a friendly, when even if we are quite entertaining, it is hard for us to not to draw in the lower ever so slightly or resistant in the through their influence. Similarly, if people are trying to cause something up, they tend to become extra vehement, righteous and chatty with such a behavior. You will feel often notice that one part of the face of the body is more expressive to attract your attention. This will often be the area around this mouth will be large, smile and changing expression. This is the easiest area of the body for people to manipulate and create an animated effect, but it could also accelerate a gesture with the hand or an arm. The key is that you will detect the tension and the anxiety in other part of the body. It is impossible for them to control all the muscles when they flash a big smile. The eyes are tense with the little movement on or the rest of the body is usually still. If if the eyes are trying to fool you with the look and garner you. Sympathy, the mouth quickly sliding. These are the sign of control behavior to trying to hurt to control part of the body. In general, the best thing to do when you suspect people trying to distract you from the truth, this is the active confronting them in the beginning, but in fact, I encourage them to continue by showing interest in what they are saying or doing. You want them to talk more, to reveal more sign of tension and contravene at the right moment. You must surprise them with a question or remark that is designed to make uncomfortable revealing. Or you are onto them. Pay attention to micro experience and body language they emit at such moment. If they are really deceiving, they will often have a freeze response as they take it. This is an often quickly try to mask an derailing anxiety. Even these are the most practiced receiver. One of the best way to unmask them is to notice how they give emphasis to the word through a non-verbal cues and emphasis how the other word non-verbal comes through the raised vocal pitch and assertive tones, forcefully hand gesture, their raising of eyebrows and guiding of eyes. We engage in such behavior when we are filled with emotion, trying to add an exclamation point where what we are saying it is hard to distinguish to mimic this. So finally, with this deception, keep in mind that there is always skill involved. At the bottom of the skill, we find a more harmless variety in like little white lies. It is the best to simply ignore this lower end and polite civilized society depends on the ability to say things that are not always sincere. So save your alertness for the situation which stakes are higher. People might be angling to get something valuable out of you. Thank you.